We're back. Have you been following the playoffs?
Barely. I know. I see your team. Both of your teams are playing each other. Which one you pick?
Both of my teams. What are my teams?
Come on, you know you got multiple teams.
I'm a player fan. I don't feel like I necessarily have like a team, a go-to team, but I like watching players. But who you got in the OKC Spurs series? The foul baiter?
I got the MVP. MVP in 6, maybe 5.
I don't know why people are sleeping on the Spurs. Like if you watch them, they're a complete team, top to bottom.
They're a great team, but they don't have playoff experience. That's just what it is.
Experience is overrated.
I got SGA in 6. You got Wimby. Whoever loses has to do push-ups for our followers, and we're gonna add it to this clip and put it on Instagram. Anyways, go ahead and get us started, man. Enough basketball talk.
All right. That's like one of our side conversations. But anyway, let's get into it. Let's get into today's episode. Welcome to episode 13 of Common Sense Pod, where we are documenting our journey as two first-generation Nigerian-American millennials trying to figure out financially, and hopefully we can all learn a thing or two as we embark on this journey and share our experiences. I'm your host, Umar, and with me is my co-host, Dami. Before we get into today's episode, make sure you follow, share, subscribe to the channel. It's one of the best ways you can support what we're doing and keeps the content coming. So with that, let's get into today's episode. On today's episode of Common Sense, we'll be talking about what it means to actually live within your means, what that looks like for us personally, how you can determine if you're living within your means. We also have our first segment, Is It Making Sense?, where we throw out scenarios to determine if it's making sense from our perspective or not. And to end the episode, we give our takes on recent economic events, what we think, and things that we're looking forward to. All right, so today we're going to be talking about something that has been coming up in multiple episodes in the past. So you've been following the journey so far, in episode 7 where we talked about financial systems, episode 9, financial vehicles, or just any episode where we touch on personal finances. This is something that has come up that we've talked about from our perspective. Today we're going to be talking about what it means to actually live within your means. This is something that I feel like is important because we've noticed that most times people don't actually do the due diligence to understand if they're living within their means. It's more of a feeling to figure out if that's something they can do or not. And so today we want to give our perspective on it, break it down in ways that make sense to us, and then share what that actually looks like. And maybe at the end of the episode, you can figure out if you are actually living within your means or if you need to make some changes into your lifestyle. For disclaimer, we're not financial advisors. Like we've said in every episode, we're just giving our own take on these conversations based on our past experiences or based on things that work for us. And so if you don't like it, that's your business. But with that being
You said something, but it's not YouTube safe, so that's your business is safe.
with that being said, Dami, what would you say living within your means actually looks like, or what does that mean to you?
So before I get started, if you're watching, appreciate you. Let us know in the comments right now. Just a yes or no. Are you living within your means? Yes or no? There's no right or wrong answer. There's no judgment here. Just trying to see what's going on with our audience. So let us know in the comments. No explanation. Yes or no. But getting into the topic, living within your means, it's simply spending less than what you earn. That's like the simple definition of it. Now, is that the complete embodiment of what we're talking about? No. So the real definition of living within your means is intentionally allocating your income across your wants, your needs, and wealth building in a way that is sustainable, intentional, and not accidental. So what does that mean? That means basically having your money set up such that you're able to do all the things you want to do. You're able to do all the things you need to do. You're putting away money for your future self, and it works continuously. It has no issues, and you're very intentional about it. One thing to note about living within your means is not just your incomes versus your expenses on paper. It's a question of whether your spending is leaving room for these 3 things. An emergency fund, which is super important. You have to have an emergency fund. Consistent investing and saving. Like we mentioned, it has to be sustainable. It has to be able to continuously provide this income for you. And 3, a future version of yourself that has something to work with. So those are the main 3 things that you want to make sure are happening when you're living within your means.
Yeah, those 3 are good parameters to figure out if you are living within your means. Like you said, the emergency fund, that's a big part. If you're able to pay your bills cool. But if you don't have anything that you can fall back on, you're not necessarily living within your means. You're kind of just surviving at that point. So you want to make sure you have room for that emergency fund. We're a financial podcast, so you already know we talk a lot about investing. So investing and saving, that's a big one. You have to make sure you're doing that consistently and that's sustainable for you. And then providing for your future self. So making sure all your bills are taken care of. You're not putting yourself in debt. You're taking care of yourself financially. I feel like if you can do all those three things well, I can confidently say that you are living within your means. But what living within your means is not is that, well, I've seen people say that they're living within their means because they're not taking on new debt. I don't think that's necessarily a good way to measure that, because just because you don't have like a car loan or you're not taking a credit card debt doesn't necessarily mean you're living within your means. This goes back to that whole emergency fund that we talked about. So let's say you're spending everything that you make, and so you have no cushion room to actually save. You're pretty much one accident, you're one emergency away from missing on all your other payments because you don't have a proper cushion set up, you don't have a proper emergency fund set up. And so just because you're able to afford everything that you're doing, you're able to afford to pay for all your bills, doesn't necessarily mean you're living within your means. You have to be able to take care of other things like your investing, your emergency fund, that allows you to breathe more freely, have more leeway when it comes to things, because life is going to happen. Like, we can never predict what life throws at us. You might have a flat tire and now you have to get new sets of tires. You might have to pay for emergency bills and stuff like that.
You might get told or something.
Bro, the towing one though, that's a big one, especially here in Dallas. That's a
Texas.
big one. But yeah, you want to make sure that you're giving yourself that leeway for incidents that can come up, that can arise in your life. So I would say just because you can pay for everything that's going on doesn't mean you're necessarily living within your means. Um, you want to go beyond that as well.
Yeah. In the future, I need to go start a towing company because the way those people make money is criminal. It's criminal, honestly.
No, towing experiences is the worst. Like, if you've never been told, lucky you.
Towing is like introduction to Texas for real. For real. It's bad.
That year, don't let me cost myself. But that year, towing company, they know how much they took from me.
Anyway, another thing that living within your means is not being cheap and depriving yourself, or as we say,
Yeah,
suffering yourself. Like, that is not really what living within your means is. Can these be a result of living within your means? For sure. But it doesn't have to be. You don't have to be depriving yourself from fun experiences. You don't have to be subjecting yourself to eating noodles and tuna every night because you say you're living within your means. It's just like we mentioned, living within your means knowing how much money you have coming in and knowing how much you have going out, allocating the money to where it needs to be, and then living off the rest. Excuse me, and living off the rest. So if you're able to put together something that works and is able to accomplish all of this, there's no reason for you to be depriving yourself of certain things. Now, are you going to do everything you want to do? Probably not. But the things that you really want to do, like I mentioned, your wants,
your
you
want.
can do
Yeah,
you can get them done. Put together something that makes sense and get your wants done. So
yeah. I think a key word that you mentioned also in the definition is that it has to be sustainable. So you want to make sure that you're able to do it over a long period of time. So I think that's a key part of it as well.
yeah, yeah. The main thing is that living within your means is not a feeling. It is living within a system. So if you don't have this system and you're going based off of the feeling, you're lying to yourself because it'll feel like you're in control of things and everything is under control. But in reality, that is not the case at all.
Yeah.
So let's talk about what living within your means actually is, or what it comprises of. So Umar, let's talk to the people real quick.
Yeah, yeah. Like you mentioned, it's not a feeling, because your feelings will lie to you. Like, your emotions is not facts. Like, yeah, you can feel like you're living within your means, but have you actually ran the numbers? And so that's something that I always encourage people to do. And in terms of running your numbers, the first thing that you need to actually figure out or understand, what is your net pay? So this is not your gross pay. Gross pay is what your company or your job agrees to pay you on your offer letter month to month and stuff like that, what your salary is. But your net pay is what you're actually taking home. So this is after your taxes has been taken out. This is after your deductions. This is after your 401k contribution. That's important because if you're going off of like your gross pay, we've mentioned this in past episodes, you're probably 20 to 30% off because if you take into your taxes, you take into 401 contributions, whatever is left, like that, if
Benefits.
yeah, benefits exactly. Whatever is left, that's what you have to use to pay for your fixed expenses. And so if you're using a higher number, you're going to be off drastically. And you see at the end of like this whole process that if that's the number you're using, now you don't even have any money to do to take care of other things in your life because you initially used the wrong number. So first understand what your net pay is. What are you actually taking home after all your deductions? Because that's what you're going to use to properly decide if you are living within your means or not. But yeah, Dami, what is something else that can help you decide if you're living within your means or not?
I think you gave us a good start there. So you talked about your net income. So that's all the money that's coming in to your account every month. Now we got to start thinking about where the money goes monthly. So after you determine your net income, the next thing you want to know is what your fixed expenses are and obligations. So these are the things that you're paying for every month. Ideally, you want to have a fixed number in your head that every month this money goes out. This money needs to go out, mandatory. My credit card bills, my rent, my insurance, the money I send my mom, the money I pay for my kids, childcare, um, my gym membership, whatever it may be, your obligations and your monthly expenses. This needs to be known so that you can take this big bulk out of your income and deal with the rest for whatever you may need it to be. So, Umar, what's next?
On here we're an invest first podcast. We preach investing, we preach saving, and so I know a lot of people take that as being optional, but honestly, that's mandatory for us. And if we want to be kind of strict with it, honestly, that's a fixed expense as well. But if we want to put it aside, investing and saving should be next. After you've taken care of your fixed expenses, now you want to figure out how much do I have left and how much can I put towards my investing. If you can only put $100, if you only put 5%, if you can only put 10%, like that's what you want to figure out and then go ahead and doing that because that's the way that you're going to one give yourself that cushion, build up that emergency fund for whenever you have an emergency or you need to take care of something that's important in your life, or you're also trying to build your life for the future you. We've talked about this multiple times where investing is how you're going to build wealth long term. And so if you're not doing this consistently, you're not building that long-term wealth for yourself. And so make sure after you've taken your fixed expenses out the way, investing and savings should be the next order of business. But yeah, after that, tell us what you can do with what's left.
With the rest of your money, you can go to Miami, you can go to DR, you can do whatever you want because all the mandatory stuff is fixed.
hmm
It's gone. No, on the real, like you said, investing and saving comes next, but they're really in the same bucket. Like you said, I would consider investing and saving in the same bucket
Your fixed expenses.
as my fixed expenses
Yeah.
because it's I mean it's the same thing. Like you want to make sure you're consistently doing it, but technically you don't have to invest and save to survive. You do have to pay your bills, so that stuff does come. But right, it's right there with it. But after we start off with our big lump sum of money, we take out our obligations and our needs. Then we take out investing and saving. Now we're left with a little bit of money. This little bit of money is how you can live your life. It doesn't have to be a little bit of money, but I mean, ideally, if you're taking money and putting it towards all those other things, you want to make sure you're doing it the right way.
Yeah.
So it may not be a little bit of money, but it definitely won't be a lot of money. Just being honest with you. But that's what comes with the lifestyle. No one said this is going to be fun. Living within your means is not fun. Um, it takes discipline, it takes hard work, it takes patience, it takes self-control. But it's if you're looking to be financially free, it's something you got to do. So with this
What
money that
happens
you have, go
what
ahead.
happens if there's no money left?
You got to reevaluate your system, man. You got to get to going. You got to get
Yeah.
something going. Go switch some numbers around, go change some numbers around. Or maybe you don't have any money left. And that's the exact reason why you need to figure this out
hmm
because you're overspending every month. So this would be your wake up call and shows you that you don't need to be going for a happy hour every Thursday to get those tacos and the beers with the boys or whatever the girls might be doing every Sunday at brunch. So yeah, the money that's left over is the money that you use for your spending. It's what you use for your gas, for your eating out, going out with your friends, getting drinks. But see the difference in how a person who's living within their means lives versus a regular person is the person who living within their means who has something structured similar to this knows that, okay, if I go out to eat with the boys, I can't spend more than $75. Whereas the regular person, they might spend 250 or something or 300, whatever they might spend and regret it later on. But when you have this, you know how much money you have to spend. You know that you're living within the confines of a budget or of a system. So you're not going to go out and just wild out. Or you might just decline all overall and say, I'm not going. I'll catch you guys on the next ones.
Yeah.
That's really what that is. Like I said, it's not an easy thing. It's not. Sometimes it's not fun. Most of the time, it's not fun. But you're doing it for a reason. I'll send it back over to you, my brother.
Yeah, I think like after you've done all of that, where you've taken your fixed expenses, you've taken out investing and saving some of your from your net income, whatever is left, that's your discretional spending. Yeah, and so that by doing this, this allows you to know what you can actually spend. Like Dami said, like for someone that's doing this, they would know like, okay, once they go to the happy hour, okay, I can only spend $50. I can only spend $70. If you have not done the process to understand what living within your means looks like, you might just go there and be like, "Oh, I can spend $100. I just got paid. I can spend 200. Like I can wild out." But after you've done that, then you realize, okay, maybe I'm not able to pay this bill as easily. And so that's why doing this helps you understand what that discretionary spending looks like. And then you can make better decisions with that. And so I think that that's a good transition into like the lies that we kind of tell ourselves to make some of the decisions that we make. And so, I mean, I've personally done some of these where like I've used some phrases like, okay, I deserve this. And that's why I made that decision. So I was working hard all week. So I deserve to go to happy hour to get these margaritas, to get this tacos. But one thing that people need to understand is that deserving something and being able to afford it are two completely unrelated things. So just because you worked hard all week doesn't mean you need to take that trip, because what if you don't have the money to take the trip? So like you deserve a vacation. You can deserve the vacation because you were working hard, yes, but you might not be in the financial position to afford that vacation, because for the vacation, you need to look into getting an Airbnb, you need to get a rental car, you need to get a flight, you need to do a lot of these things.
Food.
Food, exactly. Have you actually done the things you need to do to figure out if you can afford that? No. So just because you feel like you deserve something, you make that decision. And I feel like that's one thing that people need to get away from. Actually steer away from using emotions to make your decision, rather understand why you're making the decision and see if you can actually make it by using facts or just running the numbers. But yeah, what other lie have you told yourself down to justify some of the things that you've done?
Man, when I was young, when I was a YN, I used to buy shoes and I called them investments.
Invest-
I used to go to the mall, wait outside in the line and get all the J's I could get. I didn't have no money, but somehow I found a way to buy the J's.
Oh my god! So you're one of the people that would have wait outside for the swatch, for the AP and swatch collab?
Man, I thought about it. I definitely would have, but I think I've left that life alone.
No, that was crazy. I saw videos where like, so in North Park, that's where like they were selling it. That the mall was like shut like at 5 a.m. The mall was wrapped around. Like it can't be that serious. It can't be that serious.
Hey man, it used to be serious. It used to be serious for me. What? I didn't have a car. I used to take the bus to the mall at 4 or 5 a.m. to go wait in line for shoes. Imagine like, but thank God for growth.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's an investment. It's a lie I used to tell myself so I could go get those shoes. And now where are the shoes? They are in my closet, not gaining any value, not doing anything for me besides covering my feet when I walk downstairs.
So you didn't even
It
sell
is what
them?
it is.
Oh my
Nah, I didn't
goodness,
even
you didn't
sell
even
them.
sell them.
I probably would of all my shoes, I probably sold no more than 4 or 5 pairs.
Yeah.
I haven't sold nothing crazy.
No, yeah, that I mean, yeah, that's a big one. I remember like, yeah, people would buy shoes, be like, okay, I'm gonna sell it. It's an investment. It's gonna go up in value, and like, it's just shoes. Like, I mean,
It's
yeah,
just
granted, there are shoes
there are
that
some.
go up,
Yeah,
like
there's
you
definitely
sell like
some.
an upsell, obviously. But 9 times out of 10, like those are like that's not your everyday shoe, and so justifying that it's an investment is not it's probably not the best decision.
Or with the purses. You can
The
move on. You
purse.
don't have to touch on it.
No, the purses are a big one, but yeah,
Let's
let's not
skip
get
it.
into that one.
We're trying to
Um,
appease our female viewers, and we haven't been doing a great job. So let's do a better job and empower our ladies.
uh, all right. Another one is that it was on sale. I feel like this is a big trap that a lot of people fall victim of. Basically, the way I see is that if you were not going to buy something and you just bought it because it was on sale, like you got. Like they basically convinced you with whatever ad for you to make that purchase. Because the way I see it is that if you weren't going to spend this money initially, you spending the money is still you spending your own money. Rather, even if it's 50% off, you're still spending money that you weren't going to spend initially. And so one, you didn't account for it. You weren't going to make that purchase initially. And then two is like you let your emotion guide that decision. If you were more rational at that point in time, you probably wouldn't have made that decision because you could have used that money for something else, or you weren't even going to buy the thing in the first place. So I feel like this sales are only beneficial when it's something that you knew you were going to buy. So think of like, okay, you've been wanting a blender for the longest time. You go on Amazon, okay, the blender is 50% off. All right, go ahead and buy it because you know you need a blender and you don't want to pay full price. But just because you saw like a trench coat is 50% off and you went ahead and bought it, were you going to buy the trench coat initially? Probably not. So I feel like making decisions based on that, like it was on sale, that's a horror. I'm not in support of that at all, and probably something you shouldn't be doing if you want to be more conscious with living within your means.
Yeah, that it's a sale, it's a scam. They be getting us with those sales,
The
and when
reason
it
why it's on
really
sale is because nobody bought it and they're trying to get rid of it. If you being honest,
they're just trying to make a little extra money. They already got all the money they need, and just these last 5 gotta go.
yeah,
Yeah. Another one that I've been a frequent user of is I'll make it back.
you make
And
it back.
s- I wonder where I learned it.
That's you.
I'm not gonna cast you I'm not gonna cast you for the same thing twice.
Make that shit right back.
Get it right back. But nah, I used to definitely say, I'll get it back. You go out, buy something, I'll make it back by Wednesday. But what happens when you're sick or you catch COVID and you can't go to work for like 2 weeks? That was some people's reality. Or, what happens when that money you're supposed to get back is needed for something else, an emergency
Yeah,
happens. Now you're in the hole twice. I'll make it back is another bad one. It's just a lie that you tell yourself. I'll make it back has nothing to do with the purchase that you're making at that moment. Mentioning it is almost like a deflection or a diversion, and it's just you lying to yourself.
yeah, just trying to
Avoid it.
justify it. Yeah.
Yeah, avoid it.
And
It's
then
just
what
just trying
happens
to
if you don't make it back? Now you're in the hole times two. All right. I think that's a good one. I think another one that I want to point out, that I feel like a lot of people say is everyone is doing it. That is a big one that I've heard multiple times that, okay, people are doing this, so I should do this. People are traveling to Cancun, so let me go travel to Cancun. Or people are buying this new iPhone, let me get the new iPhone. But the way I see it is that that's kind of a backwards way of doing things, because honestly, you don't know what people's financial picture look like. They could have bought that on credit. They could have like been gifted that. They could have had the cash to pay for it. Like you honestly don't know what's going on in their situation. And it could also be a situation where they're not financially literate themselves. And so they're probably making bad decisions. And so you see that and then you're following in that bad decisions. It's literally like a blind person giving you directions. Are you going to be taking direction from a blind person? But yeah, so people using that to justify the decisions they make is not something that you want to be doing, because that's more of not understanding the people's financial picture, and you're also using that as a way to make decisions for yourself. Any inputs there?
I mean, growing up, your parents always said, if everyone is jumping off the bridge, would you do it? So, I mean, that's enough of an explanation there. Just because everybody has it doesn't mean you should want it. If anything, if everyone has it, that should be a reason why you don't want it. I'm not trying to be like everybody else.
Very true, very true. All right, so I think that's a perfect transition into the next segment we want to touch on when it comes to living within your means. One thing that people struggle with is lifestyle creep. I mean, obviously, you're surrounded around certain caliber of people, or you start going to places, you're going to eventually fall victim to, okay, start doing some things you weren't doing in the past. You want to start going to these places, you want to try new restaurants. These are all things that are natural for us to do as humans, or as social creatures, because that's how we express ourselves. But it's also good to understand that if you're not accounting for these like lifestyle creeps, you might not be setting yourself up in the best financial picture. And so, Dami, I want you to give us some examples of what lifestyle creep looks like, or how you have navigated that as you've climbed your journey in this financial
My
space.
climb my tall ladder.
Your financial ladder, exactly.
Lifestyle creep is basically as you earn more money, as humans, we tend to spend more.
Yep.
So that's basically what lifestyle creep is. It's spending more money because you earn more money, or gradually allowing your expenses to increase without consciously knowing it. So it can happen in many ways. And the reason why it's called lifestyle creep is because a lot of times you don't notice it. It could be simple like upgrading your Netflix subscription to get the one without ads.
No
And
ads.
then and then the next month your phone breaks, so you got to get a new phone. And then I don't know, you decide you want to spend a little bit more money on fast food, trying to treat yourself a little bit more. These things add up. Just in that conversation just now, you that could be anything from an extra 200 to 400 a month
Yeah.
depending on how you spend it, and you don't really feel it, you don't really notice it until you get to like a tipping point where you're like, "Oh, wait, like I'm kind of broke now," or "I don't have money like I used to."
Mhm.
And you review the numbers and you'll see that it's the lifestyle creep. It's the changing and the spending. So it's definitely a thing people are to be aware of. People should be conscious of. I think the only way to avoid lifestyle creep, in my opinion, is to be conscious of it in your everyday living so that you can prevent it or you can avoid it. Because if you just go about your life normally, lifestyle creep is going to find a way into your life. That's why it's called what it's called. But if you're aware of it and you're adamant on keeping your bills the same, you're adamant on preventing new things to come in and change how you're living, then I think that's a good way to avoid lifestyle creep.
No, yeah, that was a good one. And I think it just goes back to like knowing what your discretionary spending is. Because if like, yeah, as your income changes, that changes as well. Like, so if your salary increases, your discretionary spending is going to increase as well. It might not increase to what you want it to increase to, but that's going to increase. So now you have more leeway. You're able to do some of the things you do. If you don't have that system in place, you're going to end up feeling that you can do some of the things that you actually can't. The worst is when you don't even realize that there's a lifestyle creep happening or where it is because like you
That's
said,
the worst for
it could
sure.
just be like, okay, I just changed my Netflix account, but that's an additional $15. To you, it might not seem like a big deal, but then like you look at your statement, you're like, wait, okay, I mean, it was just Netflix. Like what else am I increasing? Like, why is there so much of a difference? But like if you're doing that for like 5, 10 things in your lives where you're just like gradually increasing. Before you know it, like you said, that's an extra $400 a month gone. And you're just like, wait, what did I do? Like you have no idea where that went. You want to make sure like it's not creeping onto you. Like you're aware of what's happening in your financial picture. Another big misconception that people talk about is that living within your means becomes easier when you make more money. And that could be true if you have a good system in place. But if you don't have a good system, you're going to end up spending more than you actually think that you have. And so let's take, for example, like your income increases by about 10%, but your lifestyle inflates by like 20. You get a new car, you get a new apartment, you get a new phone, all of that adds up. And so that income that increased by 10%, but your lifestyle increased by 20, you're in the hole for another 10%. There's another 10% there that's not accounted for. And so before you know it, you're going to be in the hole. You're going to feel like nothing changed from making more money. And that's because you didn't have a good system in place. So that's one thing people need to be aware of, that just because you're making more doesn't mean it's going to make it easier for you to live within your means. You have to make sure you have a good system in place because that automatically affects your discretionary spending and you will have more money to do some of the things that you want to do.
Yeah. You know, as you were saying that, I got to thinking, it's actually a lot. Well, before I even get there, if you can't manage a little bit of money, you can't manage a lot of
A
money.
lot of
That's
money.
kind of,
Mhm.
that's something that's kind of elementary. But when you think about it, it's actually a lot more harmful to not be able to manage large sums of money than it is for smaller amounts of money.
It's very bad. It's very
So,
bad.
like, if you make 5K a month and you mess your money up, what do you have? Maybe you have rent, you have a car note, you have groceries and stuff, some minuscule things, and then you gotta figure it out. You go back to your mom's house or something. I don't know. You go live with a friend. But if you make $1 million, you probably have like 5 cars, you have one home, you have a vacation home, you have a social club you're paying for. If you can't pay for that stuff, your life will be drastically different. Like it'll be a very different lifestyle. And there's probably a lot of people that live off of you. You probably have your own ecosystem around you. So not being
Yeah.
able to manage that type of money at larger sums is way more dangerous. So it's better to just learn it so you can get better as your money increases.
No, yeah, I think it's like you said, the more money you have, like the whole the financial hole that you fall into becomes bigger if you can't manage it properly.
and it's harder to get out of it.
Like exactly, exactly. Dami, what are some of the things that because you become more money conscious, you're living within your means that you haven't been able to do socially?
That I have not been able to do socially.
Yeah.
I'm gonna I'm gonna answer a different question because that might turn some viewers off. I'll answer rather than saying what I cannot do socially.
Mhm.
I will
What you've had
say
to sacrifice?
I'll answer the social costs, that social cost of it. So I think the when people think about living within their means, they probably think of it like, oh, my life's gonna be boring, it's gonna suck, I'm not gonna be able to do everything. Yes, that's true. It will. But you can make the most out of it.
Yeah.
Just be honest with you, it's not fun. But most things that are worth doing in life are not really fun. Most things that you put energy and effort towards in the moment is not fun, but you're doing it for a reason. So I'll say one of the biggest things that comes from living within your means or social cost of it is you learn yourself better. And that comes from isolation because you will be isolated a lot more. You will be by yourself a lot more because you're going to be staying in the house. You're going to be turning down events. You're going to be finding things to do to entertain yourself within your home. So what does that mean? You will be home a lot more and it'll be you and your thoughts. It'll be you and your habits and your tendencies. So within that time, you'll probably learn a lot more about yourself. You'll pick up new hobbies. You'll think different. And it's probably really good because you get to understand yourself a lot more. You get to know yourself better, and hopefully you pick up some new healthy habits, or you pick up some new hobbies that are really good for you that don't require you to spend a lot of money.
Yeah.
So I'd say that's the first one. That's, I guess, somewhat on the positive side. Now we go to the other side of it. So
The dark side.
the dark side. Yeah. So the dark side of living within your means is you're going to have to explain yourself a lot. And there's two sides of it, right? As far as like explaining yourself, whenever something pops up and you're telling someone why you can't do it or you don't want to do it, you're either going to have to explain to them that you're being very conscious about your money. You don't want to spend because you're saving towards something or because you have a certain goal, or you're just going to have to accept the fact that you're not explaining yourself and they're probably going to think you're broke and be okay with it. Both of
You
those are
don't
kind
think
of an
you're a brokey?
inconvenience. Yeah, they're going to think you're a brokey. And both of those are kind of inconvenient because one, you're not trying to explain yourself to every single person.
Yeah.
And two, there is a level of uncomfort in people thinking you're broke when you actually got it, but it's just a mental thing, you know. If you if you know what you're doing it for, other people's opinions and how they think about you doesn't matter. So it really doesn't matter. We just think it matters. No one really cares about you. You watching this right now. No one cares about you. It's just the truth. We tend to think that we're more important than we are. We tend to think that people are worried about us, but no one's really worried about you. So just do your thing, run your race, live your life, and go about things your way to live the life you're trying to live. So
Yeah.
it's really just a mental thing. It's an ego thing. So, another one, people are gonna be concerned about you. So, adding on from the previous point, like when your friends are going to happy hour after work and you're like, I'm not going, I don't have no money for this right now. Or your friends are trying to go on a vacation and you decline because you're trying to save money. There could be conversations where they're coming to you, hey, Dami, hey, Umar, are you good? Like, you've been declining, you haven't been going out with us, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
And it's something you'll have to deal with. Your people are not going to understand your goals. They're not going to understand the path you're on. So you can try to explain, like I said in the previous point, or you can just let it be what it is. Like they're not going to understand why you're doing the things you're doing. So it's just something you got to do. And I say another big one is you're going to lose friends, or at least your friend group will evolve. The
Yeah.
dynamic, at least. What do I mean by this? So there are certain friends you only have them because you do certain things with them. For example, you might have a particular friend or a friend group that you go to the club with every weekend. If you stop going to the club, would you still associate with these people? Probably not. They're
True.
not really your friends. They're just associates of yours. They're just people you know. So when you get into this path of living within your means and you stop doing a lot of the stuff that's spending your money, or you start to live a different lifestyle, you will lose friends. You will become distant from these people. And not saying it's a bad thing. Someone that's going on spending their money and you staying in the house not spending your money, it doesn't make you better than them. It doesn't make them a worse person than you. You're just living two different lives and two different paths right now.
Mhm.
So that's just what it is. So you probably will lose friends, and it's something you got to be okay with.
But But yeah, no, that's a big one. I think knowing that your friend group is going to change in some sense, it's a big one too that you have to realize that's going to happen. Because, like you said, it doesn't necessarily mean like you're better than anyone there. You might just be on a different path. Like you're on a path to set yourself up in the future, and then you have friends that enjoy some of those other things that you can't afford to do at that particular time. So just knowing that, and then that also could lead you or bring you to other people that your vision or your paths align more with. So that's another thing that you have to be aware of. Like Dami said, the social cost of living within your means. But I think like going back to the positive side, knowing that this is a long game. So because you're making these sacrifices early on, you're saving, you're investing, you're living within your means, you're not spending more money than you need to. That's in your early 20s, or less like, I mean, our target audience are millennials. So you're in your early 20s, early 30s, you're making these
Just
decisions. You're making the decisions now. And so that sets you up in the future, like going into your late 30s, your 40s, your 50s, even into retirement, because you made those building blocks, you laid the foundation right now. And so that's one thing that can you can bank on, that you can use to justify why you're making the decisions that you are making now.
mhm. Let me ask you a question.
What's up?
We always talk about our real life experiences and we always try to give people insight on some of the things we've gone through or some of our experiences. So, what would you say is the hardest moment you've had to navigate because of a financial decision you were making? It doesn't have to be nothing major, but just something
I
you're
mean, I
comfortable
think it
talking about.
honestly like relates to like what we just talked about in terms of like being more social. I think that was a major decision. A couple years back, I made a more conscious decision not to be outside as much because I didn't like how much I was spending each time I go out. Every time you go out, you spend $100 at least. Buy drinks, buy food, get food on your way back, buy gas. Like if you're doing this every week, let's say you do this every week for a month.
Buying za? Oh, you talking about fuel? My bad, my bad, my bad.
I said buy.
You said buying.
Buying gas, no, buying gas for your car, please, please. But yeah, if you're doing this every week, a month, that's $400 easy. I mean, yeah, I could afford it, but I mean, I can do other things with that money as well. So I think that's one of the things that I like consciously like cut down on, to where okay, maybe now I'm just going out once a month, once every other month kind of thing. So I'll say that's my own personally. I'm kind of social, but I try to like keep it to a minimum.
Hey, the street said the za ain't cheap. It ain't cheap.
What we say is something you had to do.
Mine is similar. Social, I said social moment or social situation you had to navigate. Mine is finding dates that don't involve spending large sums of money. That's that's
No,
that's
fact,
that's work. No,
fact.
that's work.
Yes, yes.
Finding dates that don't spend money is tough, but ultimately, what I realize is that anything can be a date as long as you're having a good time.
That's true. That's true. I mean,
To my boys out
depends on
there,
the person. I
yeah,
mean,
it does depend on the person for sure.
some girls
Some girls are not going for that.
they're not going for that.
And we
They have
love
to see
them
the moolah.
still. We love all of our women regardless, but some girls are not going for that. And then there's some that, just want to enjoy your presence.
Yeah.
Your presence is the present. So,
Nah, that's a good
you know,
one because yeah, dates can easily run you like depending on where you are. I mean, shit, a couple $100, like
a
that's no
couple
joke.
$100, not even 100 or 200, a couple.
A couple. If you want to have a good
Yeah.
night, have a like
Yeah.
do something good. But yeah. All right, that's good. Like you said, we always share our own experiences, and we're talking like we talk from things that we've done in our own lives. So we're not just throwing things out there for you to do where we haven't done ourselves. Um, but yeah, moving on to everyone's favorite segment, is it making sense? This is where we throw out real life or made up scenarios and we try to deduce if it's making sense or not. So, Dami, are you ready? I have one for you. I think you like this one.
Let's do it. If we disagree, I'll love it.
Yeah, I think we're gonna disagree with this one. But all right, so you have someone in their late 20s, let's say 28. He decided that he wants to lock down and lock up. He's not going out and he's dead serious about building wealth. And so some of the things that he had to do is that he decided to cut out going out, decided to cut out traveling, no socializing. He's not even paying for Netflix, so he didn't want to watch TV. So he ends up saving about 45 to 50% of his income. That's a good amount. And so he's been doing this for 2 years. his account is looking right, like he set himself up, but honestly, he feels burnt out and he hates his life. Give your take on if this is making sense about living within your means, or does he need to change anything?
First, um, this is my type of guy. So it's crazy because you said the statement hates his life. So
Mhm.
that is touchy for me. So obviously no one wants to be in a situation where they hate their life. But I like that you said this one because yeah, I already know where your opinion is going to be. You probably knew where my opinion was going to be on this one. I'm the type of person I would rather struggle for 2 years, all out struggle for 2 years and know that the rest of my life I'll be good than to partially struggle for like 5 years or 6 years. So
Yeah.
the way I see it is like it makes sense because you're doing it for a reason. You're not doing it for fun. You're not being subjected to these conditions. You're putting yourself in a situation. So let's talk numbers. You said he saves 50% of his income. If this is a person that makes 10K a month, the average person saves 20% of their income. And that's not the average person. That's like a person
That
doing
person
well.
that's like has a good system.
Person that's
20%?
doing well. A
Yeah.
person that's doing well for themselves saves 20% of their income.
Yeah.
So let's say the number is 10% then. All right, let's say 10%. If a person makes 10K every month, that means they're saving $1,000 every month. That means in a year they save 12K. If a person is saving 50% of their income, that means every month they're saving 5K. So in a year they're gonna save 60,000. So the way I see it is that like over the span of that 2 years, this person is gonna save 120K, whereas that other person it's gonna take them 10 years to do this. So I'd rather just stick it out for 2 years and know that my life, I don't have to do that ever again in my life, than to casually do it for 10 years and dread it for that 10. I think I would hate my life during that 10 years. Whereas during that 2 years, I have the mental fortitude to understand why I'm doing it and what I'm doing it for. So
Yeah.
I can't just say it makes sense because you said the statement that they don't like their life. But if I was in that situation, I know that I'm going to hate my life for 2 years and love it forever.
Yeah, I already knew you're gonna lean towards that. Like Dami said, this is someone. I mean, I think the key word here is that he hates his life. Obviously, no one wants to hate our life, but he's also setting himself up. Like, I mean, I think you made a good point that you rather do this for 2 years rather than for 10 years. But to give my own POV, to give my point of view, I would like this is not something I would encourage. Like what we mentioned in the episode so far is that we want it to be sustainable. Obviously, you don't want it to hate your life. You want to actually be able to still do some of the things that you enjoy doing. Just do it to probably not do it as much as you used to, or do it in moderation based on what your discretionary spending looks like. And so in this situation, I mean, yeah, I would say he's pretty extreme with it. Like you probably don't have to save 40%. Maybe cut it down to like 30%, make it more sustainable, find time to do things that you enjoy, socialize, find a hobby, do stuff like that. I'm all about balance. Like I enjoy having a good time with like you work hard for your money, you also can enjoy the money that you make. Just don't go crazy with it. And so I'm all about balance, making sure you're able to keep it sustainable for a long period of time. But yeah, so that's the side that I'm leaning on. I knew Dan was gonna be on the extreme side. I'm a more conservative, chill guy when it comes to something like this.
Yeah. I think all in all, if the number goes from 50% to like 35% and he doesn't hate his life as much, then that's
That's
a
good.
perfect place
That
to
yeah,
be.
that's a
Yeah.
good setup. That's a good
If it
setup.
goes to 25%, I'm not messing with it because that's half. That's half. That's half of what you were doing before. I'm not messing with it. You don't need that much balance. But if it's at like 35%, I think it's cool there. 40% probably is ideal because 10% is all you need, in my
Yeah.
opinion. But if it gets from 50 to 25, I think, nah, he's living too much life. He could be doing more.
Yeah, I mean, like we said, we're individuals. We have our own takes, but like what we both encourage is that like okay, obviously investing is important, saving is important, but having a balance and making it doing having a good system in place where you can do these things is also very important.
Yep. Yep. Good one. Good one. Cool. All right. So I have one for you.
All right, let's hear it.
So we have an individual, this person, this lady, we're appealing to ladies. This lady just got a raise at work. She got a 20K raise, 20K annually, a little bit under 2K per month. As soon as she got this raise, the first thing she went and did was she adjusted her 401k contribution. That out of that 2K, she's now adding an extra 500 monthly to her 401k contribution. What she did next was she also increased the amount of money she's saving. and she increased the amount of money that she's paying towards her debt. After all this, she has about $300 left that she's adding to her monthly spending. Is it making sense or no?
That's making sense. I think that goes through like everything that we've talked about in this episode, where you want to take care of your necessities first before your wants. And so, like, she got a raise. Kudos to her. Good job. First thing she did was go into that 401k. Okay, from maybe 4%, she increased it to 5% because she has more leeway. That's good. She took care of debt that she had. Now she can use that. She can avoid paying that debt month to month to do other things that she wants to, and she's also increasing her savings. Like, these are all the things that will help you build a good base or a good emergency fund and a good investing future. So she did all of that, and now anything that's left, go ahead, go do what you want to do. Go on a trip, buy that new shoe that you want, do anything that you want with your money. But you've done the necessary things already, and so you can go ahead and make those decisions. So yeah, that's definitely making sense.
Yeah, I agree. And the major thing here is that in this situation, I said immediately she got the raise. So that means she never even saw the money. So you
Mm.
can't miss something that you never got. But let's say that money went into her account once and her
You
check
see
went
what
up
it
by
look
like
like?
2K. It's hard to give that money back. It's hard to give it
Nah,
back.
facts,
So the
facts.
best thing that she did in this situation was that she never got to see the money. So ultimately, the last $300 that she's keeping for her spending, it's being added to her money and it's still a raise. She still got a raise. But
Yeah,
not only did she get a raise, but she has increased the amount of money she's put towards wealth bidding because that's what raises should be for. Raises are not for you to change your life. Raises are not for you to live differently. They're for you to adjust and allocate money to the places where money is needed.
100% agree. That's good. I like this one. There was one that we're on the fence of, and then one that we agree on. Like, that was good. That was good. All right, so moving on to economic events, where we're going to touch on some of the interesting things that we saw in the news concerning the financial market, concerning politics, or just anything that we find interesting and wanted our viewers to pay attention to. All right. So the first one that I have for you, Dami, what do you think about like the upcoming IPOs with Anthropic and SpaceX? Are these IPOs that you're looking forward to, or how are you feeling about those?
Before I answer, before I answer on these, how do you feel about the current state of like the economy and how things are in the world right now?
I mean, I think we touched on this in the last episode, or maybe 2 episodes ago, where if you're judging based solely on the stock market, it looks like, oh, we're in a bull market, everything is good. S&P's all-time high, like stocks are up year to date. But if you ask like the individual, like the consumer, I think they will say like, yeah, inflation, like they're still feeling inflation, even though like if inflation is rampant, you're not supposed to be seeing that in the market. But consumers are still feeling inflation. The gases prices are still high, groceries are high, things people are losing their jobs. It just feels like it's going in two different directions when we look at the stock market, and then how people actually feel. But it's like two arrows going in the opposite direction. That's how I feel.
Yeah, I agree. It's very I feel like the word I would use is like unsettling because you don't really know what is going on. You don't really know what to feel. On top of all
Mm,
of that, we're still dealing with the Iran situation with the
yep.
Strait of Hormuz. We're still trying to figure out what the future of AI is. Tariffs technically is still a thing. Like we still technically have not resolved it. They're trying to reverse some of them. So there's just so many things going on in the world right now. It's definitely a bit unsettling. People are losing jobs up and down. It's very unsettling right now. I just wanted to get your perspective.
No, yeah. Oh, yeah. I remembered what I was gonna say. Like, well, I guess where what I've heard people describe the economy like, it's like a K-shaped economy. So where one edge is going up and the other edge is going down. So yeah. So just
The
wanted to
rich
put
are
it out
getting
there.
richer, the poor are getting
Morgan
poorer,
Poor.
as you said
Yep.
in our last episode.
Yep.
I think the topic of stagflation may come up in our conversation soon, but
Mm,
let's see how things go. As far as the IPOs, ah, SpaceX, Anthropic. It'll be an interesting summer for sure.
for
I don't
sure.
know if you
For
feel the
sure.
same, but it looks like all the companies that are supposed to IPO are trying to expedite the process for which they're going to hit the market, is what I'm seeing. I think everyone wants to IPO as soon as possible. For SpaceX, and I know you have some thoughts on this because you've been following this. I don't really know what that IPO looks like because one, because of the value of the company at which it's IPOing. Two, because it's regarding space, which is something that it's not newer, but it's not as familiar as things like semiconductors. People understand semiconductors, people understand healthcare, but most of us don't understand space because we've never been there. So I'm interested to see how the whole IPO goes and just how like the company looks like over time. Um, then for Anthropic, I don't really have much of an opinion on that one as well because Anthropic um is a company that owns Claude, and they have the Claude is their GPT model, and we haven't seen any company that IPO'd strictly off of a GPT model. The companies that exist, like Google has theirs, but we don't know. Oh, ChatGPT has not IPO, so we
IPO,
don't know
yeah.
what it looks like for a company like that in the market.
Like
I'm
an
interested to
AI,
see.
yeah, an AI specific company to IPO.
Yeah, a
Yeah,
company that is exactly a company IPOing specifically for AI. Like a lot of these companies incorporate AI,
yeah.
but there is no company that is specifically AI on the market. So we'll see how that goes. I'm definitely interested. We'll see how they look like price wise. I think they're both companies I'll have on my watch list as far as investing, but I'm definitely going to be an observer early on.
Yeah, I think the rule of thumb is that for IPOs that you definitely want to give it maybe a good 2 months before you probably buy any shares because that's when the private equity investors are probably liquidating, selling their shares. But for SpaceX, I think this is interesting. I like the point where you brought that no one really knows much about space, or like that infrastructure, or that space is not one that people are too familiar with. So who knows if they're going to invest as if they're going to invest in it. But I'll say on the other side is that that gives Starlink, SpaceX, like the monopoly in that space there.
Monopoly.
And so
Yeah.
if that is your only entry to kind of invest in companies that has to deal with like space, the space atmosphere, okay, why not invest in them? Not saying that they're only one. I mean, there are other companies like you have Virgin, you have Amazon. Amazon does some stuff like well, Blue Origin is
ASTS,
still
Rocket Lab,
yeah,
ASTS.
stuff like that. So you still have other things, but like as SpaceX is like the company that
Taking
you
it to the
can
next
invest in.
level. Yeah.
Exactly. So that was one thing. But the thing that stood out to me is that their evaluation when the IPO is said to be at about like $2 trillion, which is crazy for just a company IPO. And then each share should be around 150, 160. So, but I think what we're hearing is that it's going to be sometime in June. We have one more like a month to June to see what that looks like. But one thing I did want to point out is that I guess to get your take on is how you think this will affect Tesla shareholders. So I know for a long time people have been investing in Tesla because honestly they want to be invested in what Elon Musk is doing. And so if now he has another company that you can invest in, is that going to dilute the Tesla shares? Are people going to sell? Because for a long time, people have not really been investing in Tesla because of the cars. It's more of just, okay, what can Elon produce from Tesla? But what do you think about that?
Yeah, I agree with you. It's definitely something to be concerned about. I'm going to ask our viewers, to all my Tesla investors, let us know in the comments. Does the SpaceX IPO impact how you feel about Tesla? Are you going to take some of your money out of Tesla and invest into SpaceX? We know everyone invests in Elon companies for Elon, not necessarily because of the company. So if he's starting his own company, does that mean you're going to take your money from your Tesla investments and throw it into SpaceX? Let us know in the comments.
Definitely be interesting to watch and see what people do.
I think there will be a noticeable change. Personally, I think there will be a noticeable change.
Yeah,
I think the stock will drop. I don't think it's gonna plummet, but I think like that first week or two, I definitely think there's gonna be like a change in volume. Tesla volume will go down.
go
I
down.
personally think
Yeah,
that. I think it will go down and a lot of that money will flow directly into SpaceX. But at the same time, it's like casting a wide net. Like people are gonna still invest in Tesla for Elon. They're gonna invest in SpaceX for
I
Elon.
mean they're
It's a
going to
newer
invest
company.
because of like the humanoid robots as well. So
Robots.
like
Yeah, yeah.
Tesla is moving away from just a vehicle company to technology,
From
humanoid robots.
technology
So
to
yeah, so
yeah, AI,
that could,
cyborgs at some point, who
that could be
knows?
another angle as well. So
Yeah.
yep.
So we'll just have to see how it goes. Did you see Trump went to visit China?
Yeah, he said he trying to get a deal done, man. The Iran war is going on. The Strait of Hormuz is closed. The economy is not doing good. Like, let's make a deal.
At this point, Trump is Mr. Don't take no for an answer.
No, I mean that's why he went like with all the CEOs that he went with, like the Avengers as they're calling it. But I mean, he went with Elon, he went with Jensen, he went with Tim Cook, CEOs for Citi and Goldman, and I think I watched a
Amongst
video.
others.
Exactly. Amongst that, yeah, that's not even everyone that he went with. But I watched a video that basically he's trying to get the reason why he went with these financials is because he wants to have access to China's market. So people in China can invest in US market so we can increase the GDP. But then you have to think about the reverse side as like, okay, if that's happening, what are we giving in return? And so that's why Jensen was there because okay, now are we going to give China GPUs because obviously they haven't been able to they don't have easy access to NVIDIA GPUs. Are you going to give them GPUs because of this deal? So, he went there to make a deal. We don't know what the outcome is yet, but it's definitely interesting to watch.
Yeah, I definitely saw that as well. Like you said, the Avengers were with him. And I think it's definitely a power play because you think about it, right? If I'm coming to your country with these CEOs, what that means is that they listen to me and I have somewhat, maybe not full control of them, but I can persuade them to do certain
I can
things.
broker a
So
deal with this. Yeah.
exactly. So if I'm bringing these people who collectively are probably their companies are probably worth like 25, 30 trillion dollars and I can get you 1% or I can get you 10% of this. I'm basically bringing $3 trillion to your country.
Yep.
Nobody's saying no to that. So a deal is going to get done. I think him having all those people with him is enough evidence to tell you that a deal will definitely get done and both sides will be pretty happy with it. One thing I saw too is that China said they were going to purchase 200 Boeing jets. They were expecting 500, so the Boeing stock dropped, as well as they're also planning to broker a deal for raw materials. That's been a big thing because a lot of the raw materials that are used for semiconductors, for chips, for phones, a lot of them, China has an abundance of them. In the US, we don't have them. So there has been some struggles there because China has like a big, I don't want to say a majority, but a big portion of the world's reserves of a lot of those natural materials. We'll just have to watch and see.
Yep. I mean, yeah, I'm definitely interested to see like what the effect of Trump's visit to China is going to do on the market. That always, whatever Trump does always has some type of effect, either positive or negative on the stock market.
Yeah, yeah. Are you familiar with the Clarity Act?
No, not really. What's that?
So the Clarity Act it's basically an act that has been put into place for cryptocurrency. So as you know, crypto is something that has not been regulated for the most of its existence until recently, where they're trying to put down some frameworks and some legislation around it.
Hmm.
So the Clarity Act is one of those things, basically building a framework around how cryptocurrencies are
Are regulated.
acknowledged, regulated. Thank you. That's a better word. Regulated. So in the future, when we see that crypto is being used for collateral, for loans, for home loans, for buying cars, for transactions, all these things are coming from the Clarity Act and some of the other pieces of legislation that are being put into place for cryptocurrencies.
Yeah.
I think if anyone is not a fan or does not believe in crypto, this is the thing right here that should make you believe. The US government is putting laws in place that will let cryptocurrency be, valid, be accepted and used for different things. A lot of banks are buying it, a lot of politicians are buying it. The US government is buying it. I'm not here to tell you to buy it, but I'm telling you that it's happening right in front of
There's
you.
a reason why they're doing all this, pretty much.
Exactly. Exactly.
So pretty
So,
much like regulation, how it can be used as an asset is.
yep. Yep. So last week it cleared the House and now it needs to clear the Senate.
Mhm.
It still has a good path in front of it because a lot of people are opposing it, mostly like Democrats and some of the banks. But it's the banks that didn't buy any. On the other side of that, there's a lot of other banks that have put a lot of money into cryptocurrency. So
Yeah.
we'll got to see how that goes. But I think we're getting to the point where crypto will become a thing. And The only way it stops being a thing is if the president after Trump removes it. At that point, we'll be dealing with bigger fish.
I mean, yeah, I don't even think that's possible at this point. The way that
Mm.
how much like the
It's
big
been
banks have,
implemented. Yeah.
yeah, the
Yeah.
big banks have crypto. The government owns crypto as well. It's embedded into the economy already.
Yep. Yep. And if you're watching this, NVIDIA just had their earnings. What is your guess?
The big fish in the market. I think so. It is Q1 earnings. Yeah, I think Nvidia they will probably beat expectations on this earnings.
Yeah, I think so too. I
The
think
A
NVIDIA is gonna beat earnings, but it may not do much for the market, but we'll see.
I mean, yeah, the AI boom has clearly been seen in all of these companies, like going back to Micron when they had their earnings, SanDisk, like all of these companies are after like they had their earnings call, you can see that their stocks did went up a good amount. And then Nvidia is also like it's all-time highs right now. Like yeah, so I mean you never know with earnings though. Like it can be
You
a
never know what
pullback, it can go up but yeah, you never know. But I think they had a good quarter.
One thing I have noticed with NVIDIA is NVIDIA doesn't miss earnings. It's just how people interpret the earnings. It's how
Mm,
people take it.
yeah,
Um, so we've seen in the past where NVIDIA blows earnings out the water and the stock barely moves or it moves down. But I think this one might be a positive one. But luckily, this will come out after the earnings. So no one can say that they followed my advice. Because, like you said, you never know with earnings. But I'm right there with you. I think AI has gotten to a place where companies maybe they may not be getting the full benefit of AI, but they're definitely
just yeah.
progressing. They're
Mhm.
progressing, and by the end of this year, I think it'll start reflecting in their earnings.
Yep, yep.
Cool. Kevin Warsh has stepped in for Jerome Powell, but we can talk about that on the next one because nothing has actually happened. He's just taking the spot.
Taking a
So
seat. Yeah.
Jerome Powell is gone. Kevin Warsh is in, and we'll talk about that in our next episode when we talk about stagflation as well. I think those two are pretty relevant. Do you have anything else?
No, I think that's it. I think we've covered everything I want to talk about regarding this episode. What it means to live within your means. How you can actually decide if you're, how you can actually calculate or figure out if you're living within your means. Some of the things that the social costs of living within your means but what it ultimately will help you accomplish in the future. But I think we had a good conversation with that one for sure.
Yeah, no, this was a good conversation. Just one of those good, honest conversations. Nothing flashy, nothing too crazy,
Hmm.
nothing that's really like gonna change your life per se, like in a big way, but it'll be a big internal way if you're living within your means. So,
Yeah.
I said at the beginning of the episode, if you are or you are not, put in the comments below whether yes or no, whether you are living within your means. And let us know where you're from. Just let us know where you're from. South Carolina, United Kingdom, Australia. Just let us know where you're from. Wanting to get to know our followers, our subscribers a bit more. And on that note, we're going to conclude our episode today. Thank you guys for sticking it through with us. If you're still here, we appreciate you. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, turn on notifications so you know when we drop. At this point, we drop every other Monday. If you haven't noticed, we just drop every other Monday. So be on the lookout for our episodes, and we'll catch you on our next episode of Common Sense, where we're trying to make sense of our sense.
Peace.